Fears are growing of a full-blown war between Israel and the Palestinians. The two sides continue to relentlessly trade a barrage of deadly fire in the fiercest fighting that's been seen in the region in 7 years. Israel says that it will keep launching more attacks to bring, quote, total long-term quiet before a truce is even considered. Israel is pounding the Gaza Strip with airstrikes. It says that it's in response to more than 1,000 rockets fired by Palestinian militants since the start of the week. Most of those were intercepted by Israel's air defense system. The violence has killed at least 43 people. Palestinian officials say that that includes more than a dozen children. 2 apartment buildings have been completely leveled as well. Israel has declared a state of emergency in the city of Lod after mass riots erupted over the intensifying violence. The fighting came after weeks of rising tensions and protests in East Jerusalem. A focal point is the Al-Aqsa mosque, which is considered to be sacred to both Muslims and Jews.
Israeli security forces must exercise maximum restraint and calibrate their use of force. The indiscriminate launching of rockets and mortars towards Israeli population centers is unacceptable. This spiraling escalation must cease immediately. The United Nations is working with all relevant parties to de-escalate the situation urgently.
Rafael Geller joins us live from Tel Aviv. Rafael, both sides are being asked to pull back. What's it going to take to de-escalate the situation, though?
Look, that's the million-dollar question. In these types of instances we've had in the past, you've usually seen Egypt come in and try to broker a ceasefire. Right now, the Israeli army has repeatedly told the Egyptian intelligence and other international mediators, including the UN, that they are not interested in a ceasefire, that they have clear objectives for their operation, and that it's going to continue. Just a few minutes ago, there was rocket fire on Israel, and a few minutes ago, there were also explosions in the Gaza Strip from Israeli airstrikes in Gaza. So this is continuing to escalate, but time. I think the answer to your question is time. Time is usually what gets things, the only really way to de-escalate things is time.
And the unrest, we understand, has also spread to Israel's own Arab population.
Yeah, and many cities that are fully Arab citizens of Israel, such as Nazareth and Al-Aqsa, et cetera, there were riots all of last night. It's a very sad thing to see because in these cities, it's usually most of the time coexistence between Arabs and Jews, but things have gotten really out of hand. As your reporter noted in the package, this is due primarily to the tensions in Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem and what's going on in Gaza. The Israeli police is working very hard to get order back in these cities. Israeli Arab leaders are also trying to get things calm down in that situation. So there's almost 2 fronts going on here. It's a very complex situation. Things can change very quickly, and we'll have to see what happens in the coming hours.
Well, thanks for getting us up to speed. Rafael Geller speaking to us from Tel Aviv.